Chris.
And I'm Ripley.
And I'm John.
And this is Comicsplaining.
The show where we're back in black. It's been a while.
Oh boy.
It's been a longer while than was intended. By several means, but there should have been a show released that Buzzsprout did not release for some reason.
Oh dear.
So it would have only been a 2-week absence, but I guess you've heard us last week and there was just no explanation of what happened. So hey, we're back.
Yeah, episode 78 didn't go out. I just noticed it today.
Oh.
I guess it's still technically a 2-week difference. It just changed which weeks.
Yeah, that's something.
So yeah, that's what's up with that.
So I guess we're getting back on that horse.
Yes, we are. Given that it's been a couple weeks, I'm gonna cut you guys some slack if you cannot tell me what happened last time.
Galactus!
Yes, something
Galactus!
to do with Galactus.
Yes, Galactus!
Okay, what about before that?
There was a hymn?
Yep,
yeah,
it was the end of the hymn story.
Oh, I was not even here for when we recorded this, though I did listen.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
This is even less fair.
Okay, yes. Tell us about him.
That's not fair.
When is it ever fair?
When I'm here and able to watch the comic.
So the first issue we read last time was the end of the story with him.
Okay, so this, Thor was... went and put his bear shirt on.
Yes, he put his bear shirt on.
And then he took it off.
Yep.
And then he felt really bad because apparently you're not supposed to wear bear shirts.
Yep.
Oh, right. Okay, I remember that.
His dad kicked him out into space.
And sent him off to find Galactus.
What happened before that?
But he was punished for wearing his bear shirt. But the thing is, he would have been told to do this anyway, so it's a very weird punishment.
Uh-huh. And then?
He went off into space.
Nope.
No?
Something else before that.
Did it have anything to do with Balder and his boner?
Yes. Tangentially.
Because Balder has been dealing with his boner for what's-her-face.
Balder went down...
Loki was there.
Oh, Loki was doing something. Oh.
I don't remember Loki doing anything. I just remember Balder going down to be like, I'm gonna do Thor's thing. Since Thor isn't here.
Oh, he went to Earth to avoid his boner. Right.
Right. To do Thor's job because Thor was going into space.
And also to avoid thinking about his boner.
Yes.
It's very important I say that because the man has had a problem with the fact that he now wants to be with, Carnilla?
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to be with Carnilla, but he wants to be with Carnilla.
But Loki attacked Balder and injured him, and he had to go to the hospital.
Oh, right. And but they didn't have Donald Blake to...
operate on him.
So they didn't have the guy who knows how to fix Asgardians.
Right.
Somehow.
So,
and then Thor showed up to get one last look at Earth before he had to go on his eternal space quest.
Yes, that will never end.
No.
He will never be back.
Certainly. And then?
He went off to look for...
No?
Loki
mugged Donald Blake.
Oh, right. He took a stick from a human.
He took a stick from a crippled man.
Just a very rude. But then Odin's like, no.
Odin was like, no, your brother has to go on a space trip because I said so give that back.
I'm punishing him. You can't just take his stick.
And then Thor went into space to find Galactus. And he found Galactus, and Galactus was like, I want to tell you a story.
This is a story all about...
Yes, exactly. My life got turned upside down.
And
I'd like to take a minute just tell you how I became the devourer of worlds.
Galactus things. Just wants to tell you, Galactus, known conversationalist
of Bel Air.
So, yeah, that's basically what happened.
We got there in the end.
We did. With some prodding, but like I said, I'll cut you some slack on it. With all of that in mind, we're going to go ahead and read Thor number 169.
Nice.
From August of 1969.
Nice!
Written by Stan Lee, penciled by Jack Kirby, inked by George Klein, and lettered by Artie Simek.
Do we know George Klein?
We do? We
I
have.
talked about him
Okay.
last time.
Yes.
I couldn't remember.
I like this cover.
Do you?
Yeah, it's cool. It's different.
It is.
Is that all just old art?
Good question.
Because, I mean, it's not a bad reuse of art if it is.
Not sure, but it's really cool. There's like a collage of different comic book scenes going on behind. A
I
cutout.
think these might actually all be panels from this comic.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's extra cool.
Because I recognize them.
That's neat.
Now, on top of that collage is a negative space cutout of Galactus,
Mm-hmm.
out of which Thor is flying.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah,
It's different.
It's a nice effect.
we don't usually see a collage on the cover. The Monster and the Man God.
Yep. With Thor freshly released from his acid haze, story time with Galactus is ready to continue. Gal spends a couple pages recapping what already happened before he picks up with the Watcher exploring the crashed ship. Everyone he encounters is dead, but he senses life further in and presses on. Interestingly, though, this was a plague ship in the last issue. Uatu is now saying that they all died from radiation. I can't say if this was a conscious decision or not, but personally I find the change pretty disappointing. Radiation is very overdone in Silver Age Marvel, as I think lack of information allowed Stan to use it as kind of a crutch.
Radiation did everything.
Radiation is vague, so you can just have it do what the fuck ever you want and hand wave an actual explanation.
My question has always been, did Stan know he was getting radiation wrong and just do it because he assumed that the audience didn't know?
Right.
Or did Stan not know and this was just unintentional misinformation being spread to the youth of America?
Well, it was the 60s, still.
Yeah.
People didn't really know what radiation did.
And that's why it's the eternal question. Okay, Gal's looking fucking weird in this bottom panel.
Yeah. What's up with his...
He's so
His
stumpy and
proportions.
his head is
His
so
proportions are bad. He's
His
got
helmet-
gorilla arms.
His helmet looks funny.
Finally, the Watcher finds the sole survivor, noting that the man is at the epicenter of the blast, which killed the rest of the... He finds this strange, for obvious reasons, but before we get more info, we have to let Galactus go on a rant about how powerful he is, because that feels very natural and doesn't break the flow of the story at all.
Okay, Galactus.
Thor correctly identifies somehow that the survivor was none other than Galactus himself. I'm glad he said this because I would have had no idea otherwise.
Huh.
After Gal finishes his temper tantrum, the Thunder God prompts him to continue. Once he's done being distracted, Galactus picks up the tale at a completely new place and time.
The internet.
Which I get, because I also have ADHD, probably.
Okay, first the Watcher intervenes,
Mm-hmm.
but we...
Yeah, we start off, as usual, with the Watcher not doing his fucking job.
Oh, yeah.
But we're not going to get into that. Now we're somewhere else.
So he talks about a planet called Ta, which was once extremely enlightened and advanced, but has long since been destroyed. Apparently the planet was threatened by something called the Creeping Plague. So now we're back to a plague again.
Okay.
No, because we're not going to do two plagues.
Maybe the plague activated the radiation.
Maybe the radiation is a plague.
You'll see.
Okay.
So, there's this guy
With a bad hairline.
who is it's exactly what I was gonna say about him. This guy who is apparently a leader of some sort and also has the most swiftly receding hairline I've ever seen. Has
desperately
like,
combed
literally
over.
It gets worse between this panel and this panel.
Oh no.
Like seriously. It's so bad. So he returns from a voyage across space in search of a cure for this plague, but now has returned empty-handed. The creeping plague is some sort of...
Whoa.
And now his hairline is even worse.
It's receding by the moment.
Right, exactly.
So that's what So that's what's creepy.
Oh
about
my-
the creeping plague.
Oh my
That's
god.
it. That's what the plague is.
Because, I mean, it's not like anyone else here has great hairlines.
Terminal Male Pattern Baldness.
Yes.
creeping plague is some sort of illness, presumably. It doesn't go into detail
Well,
about
hey,
what it
point
actually
proven.
does. That is capable of killing the entire population of a planet and then spreading to further planets somehow. I don't understand how, if everyone's already dead, you need something to carry.
No,
Maybe the assumption is kind of like The Stand, where like, no, you don't get this reference, you don't get this reference, whatever.
know what The
Oh, you
Stand
do?
is.
I also
don't
know
know
what The Stand is.
Okay, cool, because every time I assume people know something, they don't know fucking shit, so I'm gonna assume y'all don't know shit. Like The Stand, where it's someone who
M-O-O-N.
leaves...
That spells moon.
M-O-O-N does spell moon.
See? I know The Stand.
I love The Stand. But anyway, it's someone who leaves the base, who just escapes the plague, who carries it outside. So maybe it's something
Possibly.
like that.
Possibly. But, whatever the case, many worlds have already succumbed to the plague, and now it's spreading to Ta.
Oh shit, is that the space kingpin? He's looking thick.
No, that's the man with the bad hairline.
Oh my god.
See? He has the creeping plague.
Oh my
it's
god.
creeping. His hair is creeping back.
It is now around the back of his head.
Oh, yeah.
At first he had some hair on top, I would like the listeners to know.
As you can see in the second panel with his head, he had hair on the top of his head. And suddenly, it is gone.
He's gonna be completely bald by the time this issue ends.
The man with the confusing hair enters a flying bubble that transports him through the city. Not for any purpose, it seems, but just to clear his head on a afternoon drive, I guess.
I mean, can relate.
Yeah, just not usually with a bubble. But...
Yet, as he floats past a bustling square, he sees several people collapsed on the ground. The sickness has already reached them.
Oh no, their hairlines! Oh my god.
It progressed quickly until finally there was only a handful of people left. Then those people decided that instead of waiting for their inevitable doom, they would pile into a spaceship and fly themselves into the sun.
I mean, that's a terrible hairline!
You're so caught up on these people's hair. As they flew towards the sun, their ship was bombarded with radiation, which made short work of the occupants. Except for the weird hair guy, racked with pain from the radiation, watching his people die as he felt something blooming within him.
The munchies.
Yes.
The Phoenix!
No. With no hand to guide it, the ship careened out of control, which I don't think is how anything works.
No.
Like, I'm pretty sure if they're that close to the sun, its gravity would continue pulling them in.
Well, if they're headed towards it, yes.
The ship is still on, but no one is at the wheel, is the problem.
Well, yeah, that's what get that. What I'm saying is, it doesn't make sense that it would just go fucking all over the place. They would get pulled in by the gravity of the sun, or...
The guy fell then.
I don't know.
He jerked the wheel. Whatever, who cares?
It doesn't matter. The ship then crashed on a nearby planet, which was witnessed by the Watcher, and the next part we already heard.
Why did we learn
Thor's
about
got-
this out of order, my guy?
Right?
Thor has got, Fraulein something fierce.
Oh yeah. It's the helmet, it just kind of pushes everything down.
That makes sense.
So the Watcher took the survivor of the crash and studied him, not seeing how that doesn't violate his oath, but whatever.
I think that extremely violates his oath. Super duper violates his oath.
I mean, if you've already broken it, you might as well carry it through to fruition.
At least until the being awoke, filled with a mysterious power that seemed to be growing and feeding off of itself. It grows into a being so powerful and so hungry that it will never be able to sustain itself. The Watcher knows that this being will pose a cataclysmic threat if left unattended, and that he has the power to stop it now in his infancy. Yet, due to his oath, he must not interfere.
Oh, now he won't interfere.
Right. So with regret, he watches as the survivor flees on his crashed ship, which I guess was fine and not damaged at all.
So,
Okay.
So wait.
Hold up. Real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So they never mention him physically growing, so am I to imagine that his entire fucking planet was just full of Galactus-sized freaks?
Possibly.
Wait, are
Excellent.
you telling me Galactus has a bad hairline?
That's why he wears the hat.
He's been wearing the hat. So wait, underneath the hat of a giant-sized Galactus is a giant-sized bad hairline.
Yes. Well, maybe. At this point, it
might have already be gone.
Yeah.
He's lost all his hair.
Reading this comic feels like what I imagine carbon monoxide poisoning must be like.
Yeah.
Everything is so disjointed and nonsensical and vague, and I feel like I'm missing something, but I'm not because it's right there in front of me.
I get all the parts, but it feels like they're out of order.
Well, for one thing, it was. He did literally go out of order because the birth of Galactus. Oh, wait, we're going to go back in time and explain how I died.
Right. Once in space, the lone survivor of Ta gives his crew a burial at space, loading them onto a pod and ejecting them into the void. Then he's set to the task of learning to control his new power, creating garments that could regulate it more easily. Finally, he transformed the ship itself into an incubator that he could rest until he was done cooking. So that's how Galactus happened.
Ugh.
There was a plague, I guess, and then also radiation, and then he turned into Galactus for some reason.
Hey, who inked this? I need to know for reasons.
George Klein.
George. For shame, George. This panel is all... Ugh. George!
It's pretty bad.
You know, for Destroyer of Worlds, this is like the most mundane origin that you could possibly have.
Yeah.
I never imagined he was just some guy with a bad hairline who got the creeping plague, fell into his sun.
Why is Galactus' hand now rocks?
It's not. No.
So
it's just something in the background.
He got a disease,
okay.
He got zapped by the sun, saved by the Watcher, and became the Devourer of Worlds.
Thor says, that's cool and all, but you still pose a threat to every living being in the universe.
Yeah.
Maybe you never wanted to be this, and maybe you don't want to hurt people, but you have. You've destroyed planets and killed billions. Galactus insists that he doesn't want to fight, but our noble Asgardian warrior cannot allow him to continue as he is. He begins to whirl his hammer, preparing to strike down the giant, but is interrupted by Odin, who says that...
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Who says that Thor's task is complete.
Can I not see any fucking cool thing in this comic? We've spent how much time on weird, pointless backstory shit in the past 20 fucking issues of Thor, and we're about to see a cool-ass fight between fucking Thor and fucking Galactus, and these two fucking powerhouses. It sounds like it's gonna be fucking awesome, and then along comes Odin to deflate the tension yet again! It's time. Odin has to fucking die.
Yes.
Odin has to die. I hope Galactus fucking finishes
I hope Galactus eats him. I don't mean like energy drains him or something. I want him to eat him in bites. To just grab him and eat him. Crunch, 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 crunch. How many licks does it take to get to the center of an onion? 1, 2, 3. 3.
Okay.
So we're feeling pretty good about Stan.
It's going great. Apparently all Odin wanted was to know Gal's backstory, and now that he does, he happily zaps Thor back to Earth. Speaking of Earth, we forgot to recap something. The Thermal Man is here.
I don't even remember the Thermal Man.
He was from an unnamed Asian country.
Oh, yeah, that's why we didn't mention him.
Yeah.
Yeah, best forgotten.
So the Thermal Man has arrived in New York City and is making an absolute wreck of the place. The cops can't stop him, obviously, and our party of intrepid Asgardian warriors doesn't do much better because Balder and the Warriors 3 are in New York.
I don't like his nozzle hands.
Yeah, those don't look good.
Indeed, it seems that nothing can stop the Thermal Man as he lumbers on through the wreckage. Thor arrives just in time, touching down on a rooftop and taking in the carnage. Next, thunder over New York.
I don't know, it'd been funnier if he'd summoned Galactus instead.
Let's get ready to rumble! I'm sure it's not going to be worth that.
No.
So wait, hold on.
Yeah.
After that backstory and setting up Baldur
For the
to...
past, 10 issues,
More
we've had a
than
scene
that.
story of Odin being like, Galactus, I must know your secrets. And then we just get these 2 issues of Galactus giving us exposition. on
I
Galactus
think
bullshit.
it's significantly more than 10 issues.
Galactus
No, it wasn't
spills
more than 10
all,
issues.
and then Thor, you're needed back on Earth.
Yeah.
I need you to dislocate your hip and your shoulder
Uh,
and everything.
Your
Baldur's
butt cheek.
unfortunately Baldur's not actually competent, even though he's immortal and indestructible.
Okay, so we went through all that rigmarole of, I'm doing all this
That
thing,
was-
Baldur, and then Thor is immediately back.
That was the fucking backstory that Stan absolutely had to tell for Galactus.
But
Why here?
So hard that he had to put it in Thor.
Why here?
Okay.
Why at all?
You know, in a newer, I mean like 2
And you know, I
or
would
3
bet,
years.
I would bet like $20 that this story has been retconned to something entirely different
yeah.
by now.
Absolutely
I
positive.
feel like in 2 or 3 years from now, a writer would have just internally monologued Galactus's backstory, or have told it in a side thing during one of the issues, instead of dragged a Thor out to Galactus
God.
and had a tea party with the man.
For 2 issues.
Yes. There was no... He
Can
didn't...
Galactus not just dictate a memoir?
Also, after all the drama of Thor having to go on this mission that he thought was going to take the rest of his life.
Yes. Which, yeah.
Right, he hasn't even had to explore anywhere else and see anything
This was
else.
gonna take the rest of his life. No, he's back.
It's fine. It's fine. There are no stakes.
Ever.
Because Odin saves the day. Whoa. There was no stakes.
It's simple. We kill the All-Father.
Yes.
So, let's go ahead and read Thor number 170
The Thermal Man.
I'm so excited.
from September of 1969.
Nice.
Nah.
Written by Stan Lee, penciled by Jack Kirby, inked by Bill Everett, and lettered by Artie Simek.
Nice.
So Thor arrives back in New
Whoa! About that inking.
Yeah, it's a doozy.
Hey, Bill.
Hey, Bill. Not your
William.
best work.
William Everett. Sir.
If I had your middle name, I would be telling you off like your mother.
Gee,
Wait,
Poor
what the fuck?
Jack.
Look at his little circle wings.
poor
yeah.
Jack's art.
Oh, God.
I mean, this probably wasn't Jack's best, but oh god.
I mean, yeah, he does got the Jay Leno chin, but come on.
So, Thor's back in New York, and he finds that the whole place has been evacuated in the wake of some sort of disaster.
That was quick.
Yeah, well done.
Good job,
I
New
guess-
York services.
I guess this is the middle of the Cold War, so
Yeah.
we've got that shit down.
And also, invasions by things are kind of a weekly occurrence at this point,
It's true.
so
Fair.
they're used to it. It's
In-
New York.
In the distance, a fire dances across the rooftops. Clearly, something is afoot. The caped crusader leaps into action, flying straight into the center of the blaze.
So where is Batman?
He's right there.
He's not the Caped Crusader.
He's cosplaying.
His cape's really poofy, though.
So he's flying straight into the center of the blaze, where he sees a hulking figure, twice the size of a normal man.
Which he has to literally say.
However, well, that's why I said it that way. However, before he can get close enough to attack, the voice of Baldur the Brave calls out a warning, halting him in the air. Thor touches down to find Baldur and the Warriors 3 recuperating from the battle.
Ooh, they're not looking so good.
Nope. They give him the rundown on the baddie, including some information that they definitely should not have.
What is that information that they shouldn't... How does he...
Or maybe they look.
What the...
He
How
is the
does...
Thermal Man, an artificial being powered by an earthly atomic pile.
What did you do? Ask him? Did you ask the Thermal
He
Man?
was sent to attack to weaken the free world.
Maybe he came with pamphlets.
Hi, I'm the Thermal Man. I'm here to
I'm
weaken
from
the
communism.
I'm here to weaken the free world. How do you know these things?
Just then, the army rolls up with guns and tanks and starts to let loose. However, all their bullets seem to have no effect as the thermal man remains standing. As they pause, the atomic creature's eyes begin to glow, which is followed shortly by a thermal blast that melts the pavement around him and also the tanks. It melts the pavement and it also melts the tanks.
But it doesn't...
I need to clarify that.
Is it melting the people?
No.
Well, assumedly, if they're inside the tanks,
Well,
yeah.
True.
But it looks like they're getting out.
Thor has seen enough, and he moves to charge with all of his friends in tow. Quickly, he throws Mjolnir, which knocks the thermal man back as he moves in while shouting, "Yield or die!"
Okay, so they pulled Thor aside to stop, don't attack. Let
Right.
us tell you this guy's fucking nothing that we should know and nothing that's going to stop us from going to attack
Right.
him.
Exactly.
So, no,
It was pointless.
We needed to know that he was communism.
I guess it was just to reunite Thor with his buds, probably.
I mean, he could have just joined them in the fight, but
Right.
okay.
Which...
I'm not saying it's good. I'm just positing a theory.
Understandable.
Stan, you're going downhill.
Going.
There's still a hill he can go down. It's impressive.
Well, he's picked up some debris by now.
The thermal man retaliates, pinning Thor to the ground. He decides now is a good time to ask Hogan where this robot man came from, to which Hogan answers that he came from Asia and was created by enemies of democracy.
How do you know that?
Why
I
does
don't
he
know.
care?
I don't know. Also a good question.
Wait, you're part of a monarchy.
Exactly.
That's the monarch's son you're working with. Why do you care about democracy?
Oh, yeah.
This isn't Asgardia. You don't work for democracy.
Hogan moves to attack, but the thermal man breaks off an I-beam that sends him to the ground in a heap.
Does that count as a wink?
Yeah, sure.
Because, just one I-beam?
Fandral steps up next, declaring that with his speed and agility, he can
Oh,
dodge
God.
the blasts and get in close enough to strike.
I was confused. I thought you meant an I-beam like a steel beam, and I was definitely scanning the page for
No! A beam from his eye, you fool!
I, of all people!
Exactly! Indeed, Fandral seems to be doing pretty well, doing some acrobatics to get around the atomic creature's flank before swinging his sword, which promptly shatters into pieces on the thermal man's armored bod.
Alright, great job, Fandral.
We really gotta ask those communists what they're making their stuff
Right?
out of. Because
Exactly. This is like Asgardian steel. You'd think it would have some shit.
No, but apparently communism just is that strong.
Yeah.
Maybe democracy...
It's the radiation.
Maybe democracy is just wrong.
The radiation broke his sword. With two of his friends thus defeated, Thor declares that maybe brute force isn't the way to go, and they should retreat and come up with a plan. However, before they can do so, they hear the roar of approaching aircraft.
That is a
look
bad
up
shaped
to see
plane.
a plane, and if either of you can tell me what kind of plane this is, I will personally award you with a giant novelty check with several zeros on it.
It looks kind of like an F1.
I don't think it's anything.
But
there's
no.
not even
No.
engines
It's definitely
on
No.
this plane.
It does look a little like an F1, but
What are-
it doesn't
These look like
missile
the-
launchers, right?
No, I was gonna say the legs on like a seaplane.
I guess
I-
kind of, but that's not what I'm seeing. I'm
I-
thinking since they're Air Force, they're like missile launchers.
Could be.
I was gonna say that they look like they're supposed to be bombs, but then I look later. No, it's
There's no other place an engine could
Yeah,
be.
it's not even the same shape in this panel down here or this one. It's not the same fucking shape anymore.
This is bullshit.
It's so
we've
bad.
gotten
We've
We've
lost
gotten
your
real-
challenge.
we've gotten real aircraft.
Okay, so
in X-Men, this is unfair.
okay, so now that we've seen the plane, I gotta tell you this.
Okay.
Apparently, the government of whatever country made the Thermal Man have realized that their creation is too powerful and will not stop with destroying America. Thus, they have sent the U.S. Army a special kind of missile that explodes inwardly, only affecting whatever you throw it at. So there's a lot to unpack there.
They have a weapon to end the Thermal Man.
So this seems excessive. Why didn't they just send the weapon?
Anyway, they launched the missile.
So wait, so you're saying that the unnamed communist country has buyer's remorse now,
Yeah.
but knowing they might have buyer's remorse, they did make a weapon just in case that could destroy the Thermal Man.
Yeah.
Thermal Man seems like an unneeded step.
Just... Why are they all self-cleaners? They all solve themselves.
Wait. So they launch the missile, and Thor orders his friends to stay behind him while he uses Mjolnir to defend them from the blast.
Fires and missiles.
The missile hits home and seems to do something. The Thermal Man stops moving and falls forward, at any rate.
It's a missile that only stops the Thermal Man and does nothing else.
The Asgardians gather around him, wondering if he could be dead or deactivated somehow. Baldur suggests that they should stand guard in case it wakes up, which Thor agrees with, but then he hears a cry for help from nearby. The Thunder God lets his bros know he will be right back before speeding off to find whoever is in trouble. He swiftly locates them, finding a soldier trapped in a collapsed building. Thor taps his hammer on the ground, transforming instantly into Dr. Donald Blake. He then unburies the man and carries him to safety, both of which seem like things that would be easier as Thor.
Yes.
But whatever. Volstagg stands over the body of the Thermal Man, boasting that he could have felled the beast with a single blow.
Oh no.
Fandral asks why Volstagg didn't help, which I think is bullshit, because if you go back and look, he was there the whole time. The Lion of Asgard continues to make grandiose claims as the atomic monster slowly rises behind him. He's behind me, isn't he? Wah, wah, wah.
We really did do this.
Oh yeah. Worlds away, Karnala observes this in her pool.
Okay, so I have some questions.
Yes.
So, we're super into the military, right? We love the military. We love the troops, don't we, folks?
Do we?
No, in the comics.
Oh, yeah.
We love the military.
Yeah.
The military awesome.
Look at Fandral in this panel.
He's so broken.
My sword is broken.
That's the only thing I'm good at.
Okay, but we love the military.
The military is good, and everything they do is right.
Yes.
So how come the military has never done anything effective in any of these fucking comics? They show up and they're ineffective and they can't stop the fucking problem. They need someone else to fucking deal with it. And then the day is saved by someone else, and somehow this is supposed to be patriotically about the military.
They are getting wharfed. Someone strong, unstoppable even, has to get their ass handed to them so our heroes can be that much stronger.
Okay, I'm getting what you're putting
And
down. They were wharfed before being wharfed was a thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
they have to be, because
the American army got wharfed.
that makes the enemy that much stronger, and that makes our heroes that much stronger than that.
The American army gets wharfed on a monthly basis here at Marvel Comics.
Yep.
So, with that answered, Karnilla is observing all of this in her pool. She knows that the Asgardian quartet can't beat the Thermal Man, which Loki says is a good thing. They are no friends to either the Mischief God or the Norn Queen, and their deaths will only remove an obstacle. However, Karnilla cannot bear the thought of Baldur's death, so against Loki's pleas, she weaves a spell to help her beloved. Baldur and the Warriors 3 appear upon the floor of the throne room, each locked in slumber. The Norn Queen leans down to gently brush a hand across the brave Asgardian's forehead. Loki is pretty pissed off about this and proclaims that the two of them aren't friends anymore, and their mom says they have to go home and never come back.
What
Female.
mom? You know that's pretty impressive for someone who doesn't have a mom.
Female, thou wilt rue
sensitive
this
about
day.
I mean, he literally, Karnilla did just say, Queen of the Norns, Enchantress Supreme, but I'm a woman first.
Yeah.
So, Loki going, female.
Femoid.
After that, it tracks.
This is unfortunately something that happens with Loki in older comics, where all of the writers make Loki super sexist just to show how evil they are, and it doesn't make any sense.
You really do hate to see it.
Hey Loki, they're all helpless on the floor. You could kill the Warriors 3 right here.
That's a great point.
You could Carnilla would
it's
not.
more important to not offend your host.
Carnilla would probably not care if you killed the Warriors 3. She's only here for Balder. Remember that. There they are. There's the Lion of Asgard. Kill him.
Don't kill him. I love him.
Well, no, I don't want you to kill him. But if Loki was being
smart,
not an incel. He would just kill the Warriors 3.
Loki was an effective villain.
Yes.
They become a more effective villain much later on, but at this point they're not.
At this point, they're not even gonna just, end the Warriors 3.
I want them to not be wearing this outfit.
Yeah?
This current color coordination of it.
Yeah.
Also, there's just this weird, the four are on the floor. Loki's like, nope, I'm done. And
then they're not there anymore because there's too much to draw.
Yeah, they're too much to draw, so they're not on the floor.
I can relate. Don Blake has returned the injured soldier to his squad, who I didn't know the word, so I just picked squad.
Sure.
Who are holed up in an
Platoon?
empty building nearby. I was thinking maybe platoon, maybe squadron. I don't know. Squad works. He finishes patching up the man as his
Boy Scout troop.
As his superior officer wonders aloud how Don was so near to the site of the Thermal Man's rampage without getting injured himself. Don declines to answer that, instead declaring that the creature is finished now, so it doesn't matter. Another soldier pipes up that, nope, we just got a report that it's back on its feet.
Yep, words spoken moments before disaster.
And the good doctor rushes back out onto the street to change into Thor once more.
So, why did he need to be Don Blake to do any of that?
Because, well, I guess he didn't really.
I mean, if he patched him up, he is patching him up.
Yeah, but
Thor can also do that.
Is Thor not allowed to patch up warriors?
I suppose Thor does know a certain amount of battlefield medicry.
Well, and also we've established that Don and Thor are the same person.
Yeah, that's true.
So that means Thor has gone to medical school.
Yes.
Thor now remembers all of Thor's medical school?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
The God of Thunder speeds toward his deadly foe, which spins its robotic head around to shoot a thermal blast at him as he approaches. Thor manages to dodge, while declaring that he seeks nothing short of absolute victory.
Against communism!
However, the Thermal Man claims that victory is impossible, as he isn't alive and can't really die. Which, we've dealt with robots before, we get the idea.
Yes, you're not alive, you can't die, you can still be broken into small chunks that can't do any harm.
Still, Thor knows that he needs to come up with something, and fast. He notes the disappearance of his comrades and wonders if perhaps they retreated to Asgard to find help. We know that that's not the case, but regardless, he decides that he can't wait around for help to appear. The golden-haired Asgardian leads his robotic foe on a merry chase down to the pier and then to the beach, where he begins to call down a mighty storm. The wind rages, rain batters and obscures the atomic creature's vision, and finally a tidal wave sweeps it out to sea.
Imagine you were at the beach and you didn't know what was going on at the city, and then all of a sudden...
A tidal wave out of nowhere.
A tidal wave, there's a fight, Thor's here, there's a big guy, and then all of a sudden a fucking tidal wave. Your picnic is fucking ruined.
So, I assume New Jersey is just destroyed.
Thor allows the storm to subside as he flies over the wreckage on the coast.
And that's probably New Jersey, okay.
Insert Jersey joke here.
He knows that the Thermal Man, alive or dead, is now far away, carried from the lands of man into the frozen north, where he becomes one with the ice caps until the end of time, or at least until global warming lets him out.
Yeah, because that's always proven to keep guys in there, being frozen up there.
Wait, what do you mean, the Wrecker?
What the fuck? Fuck this fucking comic.
What do you mean, Wrath of the Wrecker?
That just ended, that was just that, and it was over.
Yeah.
Does every fucking comic have to end with a sense of no satisfying conclusion to the climax?
Yeah.
If that was...
It's required.
If that was the uptake, the build-up, I'd be super into it. I was into it. I was psyched.
That's it. The city has been destroyed. Everything is fine now.
And that's probably New Jersey.
I'm so fucking
At
mad
the
right
end.
now.
And next,
I'm so fucking mad.
The Wrecker.
Ripley's very mad, so let's go ahead and read Thor number 171.
Okay.
From October of 1969.
Nice.
You can't even manage it.
I'm so disappointed in both of these.
Written by
Oh no.
Written by Stan Lee, penciled by Jack Kirby, inked by Bill Everett, and lettered by Sam Rosen.
Alright.
Let's see what you got, Bill.
Hit me with your best shot. Fire away.
The Wrath of the Wrecker.
Yeah, he's really threatening.
He is.
Look how threatening he's being.
Yes. It seems everything is back to normal. New York has recovered from the Thermal Man's attack and the tidal wave.
And New Jersey is still in ruins, but who cares because it's Jersey.
Thor is done being punished for putting on his bare shirt, and his friends are presumably still asleep on Carnilla's floor. Just another normal day at Earth 616.
Okie dokie.
Thor stands on his rooftop perch and waxes poetic about how tense the city is, until he hears something from the open window just below him. He peers in creepily on a domestic scene. A woman working tirelessly in the kitchen while her husband sips his morning coffee and listens to the news on the radio because gender roles. According to the report, a gunman has shot someone named Pedro Luis Lopez, who now lies in critical condition. The couple remarks very normally that Mr. Lopez is well loved, and if he dies, the city will be up in arms. So the way they're talking about this Lopez guy, who we've never heard before, led me to believe that he might have been a real person, but I googled it and I couldn't find anything.
Huh.
So if anyone knows what the fuck is up with that.
Oh, he should be like a Martin Luther King Jr. kind of guy, though.
Yeah.
Maybe he's an insert for a real person.
Yeah, so Thor retreats from the window. He, too, has heard of our dear Pedro. Apparently he is some manner of civil rights crusader, an individual that would be sorely missed. Thus, Thor declares that if there is any hope, such a man must not die, as he takes off for the hospital. He arrives on the rooftop and quickly turns into Dr. Blake, descending the stairs and calling out to a passing nurse. The good Mr. Lopez is already in surgery, and Dom decides to just go hijack it, which doesn't seem like a thing he should be able to do.
No, if he wants to come in and lend an assist...
But he's Donald Blake. He can hijack any surgery he wants.
Yeah.
He's just that good.
He's just that good. His colleagues don't seem to mind.
Because everyone knows he's a god.
Though one of them
What
questions...
the fuck? He doesn't even scrub in.
Nah.
Well, he does. He is in this
Okay,
panel.
okay.
This one right here.
Alright.
His colleagues don't seem to mind, though one of them questions him about his unexplained absences and how he just shows up out of nowhere seemingly at random.
But mostly they're cool with it.
After scrubbing down, Don enters the surgical room. He proclaims here that even if Lopez hadn't been a beloved civil rights figure, he's still a human that the good doctor would fight to protect. And I don't want to doubt his sincerity, but the whole reason you're here right now is because you heard about it on the news.
Well, because Thor cared about it.
Like, if the guy wasn't famous, you would still be hanging out on the random building with your cape flowing in the breeze, my dude.
You did do a breaking and entering to hear about it, too.
He just sat in the window, it's fine.
That's that's perfectly fine. No one would be complaining if Spider-Man did that.
No. At another hospital, somewhere upstate, a second patient lies behind a steel door manned by armed guards. The guards are restless, claiming that this is a job for the army, not for your average Joe. The doctor reassures them that this is only a temporary measure until a more secure facility can be arranged. This reassures the men, though one of them remarks that there's no way the patient can break out anyway, so long as he doesn't build up an immunity to the tranquilizers.
That's like a fucking horror movie setup.
Someone needs to get genre savvy, as no sooner does he speak it into existence than the steel door begins to buckle.
God damn it.
It is shredded like paper as the occupant breaks free, declaring that he will never be captured again. They're being a little coy with it, but we all saw him on the cover. It's the Wrecker. Hopped up on god magic and ready for revenge.
Yay!
He reclaims his crowbar from where it was stashed
His
before...
super special awesome crowbar.
The fucking crowbar kills me because he has the powers, not the crowbar. It's just his emotional support crowbar.
Yes, he needs that crowbar, damn it.
Well, He gets it, and then he turns on the guards. He makes pretty short work of them before smashing open the wall for a swift exit. Outside, more armed guards appear to apprehend the inmate? Patient? I'm not clear on the situation here, but anyway, the wrecker blasts them all away before running off through the woods and into the nearby road. He attempts to flag down a passing semi, which almost hits him, because he just jumped into the middle of the fucking road. The wrecker barely dodges, landing on the shoulder where he hurls his crowbar like a javelin, spearing straight through the truck and taking the entire engine with it.
Well...
Don't worry, the driver bailed out somehow, from the wrong side.
Yeah.
Okay, well, like, I guess you're not gonna get a ride from that now.
No. Well, he doesn't care. I mean, there's other cars. After some Grand Theft Auto and a bit of driving, he arrives back in the city proper before immediately beginning to rampage through the streets, tearing shit up and terrifying the civilians.
God damn it, Wrecker.
That's just what he do. He wreck. Across town, Dr. Don is still in the middle of surgery when one of the other doctors remarks that he felt the building shake. Impossible, Blake says. New York doesn't get earthquakes.
New York gets earthquakes.
Yet there it goes again, and this time everyone felt it. They all move to secure the surgical tools as Dr. Blake rushes out of the room, calling over his shoulder to keep the patient alive for the next 15 minutes until he returns.
Wow. Wow. So, the wrecker is a 15-minute problem. Okay.
He runs down the hallway and back to the roof, knowing that his surgery isn't going to matter if the whole building comes down, much less if anything worse happens. He turns into Thor and immediately takes off, searching for the disturbance.
I mean, fair point, but, like, it's from a story standpoint, this is really weird. He hears about it, comes in, turns into Donald Blake, starts the surgery, something happens, and he leaves, turns into Thor.
I mean, it's just, the level of disjointedness is not anything new.
No, but it feels like it's getting worse.
It does.
He arrives at the end of the Trail of Destruction, though he can't see any enemies. As he ponders the street below, the wrecker sneaks up on him from behind, catching the Thunder God unawares with a leap onto his back.
Wow.
The wrecker seems confident, but if you'll recall, our hero was somewhat depowered last time, and he's also on a deadline now. Thor bursts out of the stranglehold, throwing the wrecker to the ground. Wrecker takes advantage of his position to swing at Thor's shins, sweeping his legs out from under him.
Okay, Thor, time to use one of those impossible powers of yours. You're on a timetable.
The two of them continue to trade blows, while also debating morality and the meaning of life, as you do. Thor says that as long as there are people who only care about themselves, mankind will never find the glory it seeks. Wrecker replies with, "Glory? The only glory in life is making out."
Making out and winning over all the other slobs.
Making out with all the other slobs.
Yup.
The world's like a great big grab basket. It's every man for himself. So he's a libertarian.
Yep.
The wrecker tackles the Thunder God off the edge of the roof, and the two tumble into a sign before landing on the street below. Thor waves off some advancing police officers before the fight resumes. Both of them are still giving each other holier-than-thou speeches this entire time.
Hey, Thor, just throw him into space or something. You're on the clock.
Thor smashes a hole in the ground, and the wrecker falls into a subway tunnel. They continue to duke it out until a train barrels down the tracks, smashing the both of them to the front like a fly out a windshield.
This happens so many times.
I wonder how many trains superheroes destroy on a regular basis.
Thor doesn't know what to do. The wrecker is beyond reasoning, but he has sworn not to kill a mortal. The train gives him an idea, though.
I don't have to kill him, I just have to lead him in front of this train.
I don't have to kill him.
Just throw him under the wheels.
Let the train do the work. I'm not killing him.
With some effort, he fends the wrecker off long enough to jump them both free. They land on the track, where Thor then throws the wrecker onto the third rail, which definitely kills people.
Hey, Thor, that does actually kill people.
Normal people, anyway. The Wrecker is empowered by Asgardian magic and isn't going down that easy. But it wasn't Thor's goal to simply electrocute him. No, he declares his intent as he slams Mjolnir down onto the rail. What he actually wanted was to use the electricity as a conduit to drain the Wrecker's power, leaving him as a mere mortal once more.
Still touching the third rail.
He can do that. That's a thing he does.
Yeah,
But
sure.
also still touching the third rail, which,
Yes.
again, kills people.
And this will in no way, shape, or form impact the power supply to this
It's
surgery,
fine.
to this hospital that is doing surgery on beloved civil rights leader Pedro Luis Lopez.
It's fine. At last, he returns to the hospital and finishes the surgery just in time to save Mr. Lopez. As he leaves, one of his colleagues questions how he could be cold enough to run out in the middle of surgery, possibly leading to the death of his patient. Don states, "Po body's nerfect," as he strolls away with a knowing glimmer in his eye.
What the fuck?
Next, Jane Foster returns.
Okay.
Spoiler.
Yes, a spoiler.
A
I
Yes.
know it's right
spoiler that's
there.
on the page.
I know. So, what would you guys rate those issues?
Oh,
Bad.
God. Oh, God.
I'll give Stan improving at pacing. Like, all of these move like nobody's business, but, like, none of them end in any satisfying way. It doesn't matter if you're good at the build-up if you don't end the fucking story.
Is this a problem Stan always had?
I don't ever recall it being like this.
I don't feel like
Usually.
this is the, like some writers have this problem, they don't know how to end a story, but I don't feel like this was a problem Stan used to have.
2.5
I'm giving
across the board.
I'm giving that Galactus one a 1. Like just
Okay, yeah, you're right. That's true. 2 for Galactus, 2.5 for the other two.
because Galactus that just doesn't. After,
It was borderline incomprehensible.
after all that build up,
Yeah.
after so much,
Absolutely no payoff whatsoever.
Are we ever gonna come back to that?
No.
Oh my
Are you-
god.
not.
Are you
That
telling me
was-
that really is the end of the Galactus story?
Okay, no,
Yeah.
fuck that. 1 star. Fuck
Oh,
that.
This is what
Fuck you, Stan.
this is what we spent. Were actual months of real time building up to.
I'm mad at the amount of time we spent going through that. Imagine going through that in real time.
Oh my
They
God.
spent about a year's worth of comics, building up to the final encounter between Galactus.
I
and
would be
Thor.
done with comics. I would just be done. So that was terrible.
So yeah, I'm gonna give a 2.5 to the next one, and this one was almost okay. I'm gonna give it a 3. I'm feeling kind. This one
Okay.
had a somewhat.
It wasn't as bad as the first
It
one.
had an ending that was not a Deus Ex Machina on the level of the other two.
Right.
Right.
It felt like a complete story halfway, maybe.
Thor saved the day.
Well, he also did in the second issue.
Yeah, but he didn't have a magical bomb that hit the communist robot.
Well, that only deactivated it for like a couple minutes.
I know, but
so it didn't really
but-
solve it.
I know, but that was dumb and
Yeah.
unnecessary. And
Yeah.
also, why did the Asgardians
Why
know
did they
about
fire
the
that
communists?
fucking thing? Because it didn't do anything. It put it down for like 10 minutes. It's like, oh, thank God we stopped the robot.
And why does Hogan care
because
about?
it might come back and bite us in the ass.
Why does Hogan care about
for
democracy?
5 minutes?
I want to know about Hogan's political leanings.
Right.
I'd really like to know about the politics of Asgard. Are there political parties, or are they just clubs?
Well, I mean, it's a monarchy, right?
Yeah.
Well, yes. So was France before the Revolution. As we've
So-
said, Odin must die.
I agree.
I'm gonna
Off
give.
with his head.
Yeah, I guess I'll give the Galactus issue a 1, and the other 2 can get a 2.
If that really is the end of that entire story arc.
Vive la revolution! Vive la revolution! Oh, God.
Liberté, fraternité. What's the last one? Égalité.
So anyway, with those issues done, we are now down to 21 issues of Stan. With 7 episodes to go.
Not soon enough.
He's not done.
Is it gonna get any better in the intervening time?
I can check, I guess.
Is there any major story arc to look forward to, or are they just going to be...
Is there something to look
A
forward to?
light on the horizon.
Jane Foster returns.
Jane Foster returns, yeah.
Will she stick around?
Is it effective? Does she just show off and then go back with her mans?
Oh yeah, we have something pretty important coming up, actually.
Okay, I'll take important. Wow, those are some low scores from reviewers, though.
Shocking.
Yeah,
I know.
2-star.
Everybody's on board, huh?
Yeah, the end of the Stan era is a 3-star across the board.
We are nearing the end of Jack's run on Thor.
Who replaces him?
I'm sure an assorted grab bag.
Yeah.
Oh no! Oh
Looks
no!
like-
That's a dark time. Sorted grab bags of artists are kind of the worst because you don't have.
They just give whoever's free.
Yeah.
So we're coming up on a fairly important story, but our next episode will not be that. So look forward to it.
Oh boy!
Give us some hints to.
No, don't do that. Don't spoil anything.
Oh, fine.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know until it happens.
Okay. Oh my god, that Galactus issue has 3.5 stars.
What the fuck?
What?
What the fuck is wrong with you people?
It's
Nobody
People
on
on
CMRO
CMRO
don't know.
They have bad opinions.
They do.
And
They have
don't
bad
know what
taste.
good comics are.
they consider it because this is important. It must be good because
Right.
this. Okay,
I guess that does mean that there are more people in here reading this than usual.
this is almost certainly an important issue. Like
It's at 3.7, actually.
Oh my!
wow.
No!
I'm gonna give that a 1 star.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Reviews. There are
Where in
reviews on this site.
There is.
There is a.
This was a pretty good comic.
Oh fuck you!
Gave a lot of great insight into Galactus. I also gotta say, tip of the cap to changing Galactus away from the villain category.
From villain to victim.
So what you're saying is, it's okay when he eats planets. Okay. Sure. It's fine. He's just hungry. He's got the munchies.
Galactus is always a villain because he fucking kills people, okay?
He
But, like, his motivations are more complex than wanting to kill people, you know?
he's
Yeah.
hungry.
That doesn't make him not a bad guy. It just makes him a little bit more complex or interesting.
You don't have to be a bad guy to be a bad guy.
Right.
But, Galactus seems like a pretty bad guy. Even if he's not really that bad. I mean, he's not Thanos.
Whatever, who cares in effect? Is it time for me to bring the mood down?
Yeah, go ahead.
Speaking of bad guys,
Oh, boy.
for our non-American listeners, you might want to dip, unless you're really looking forward to our post-episode plugs, because it's about to get real America-centric in this podcast. If you haven't noticed right now, things aren't great. To be fair, March 960th, 2020, they haven't been great for a while. In the aftermath of the presidential election, we've seen Roe v. Wade abolished by the Dobbs decision. We've seen the introduction of a nationwide abortion ban in Congress. We've seen state legislatures pass heartbeat bills so strict they force child victims of rape and incest to bear children. We've seen public libraries under threat of defunding through the weight of Christo-fascist pressure. We've seen the forced outing of trans children seeking help from school officials to their parents. We've seen chilling warnings from the Supreme Court of what may be coming down the line. We've seen the undermining of democratic norms and the right to vote, the rising of extremist political violence against the powers that be, whether it be the attempted burning of the Reichstag / opening day of Mike Pence's season, or attacks against the FBI. That's what's at stake. Down at the state level, 30 state legislatures are controlled by Republicans. At that level's where you're more likely to get the candidates desperate for attention. And so MAGA twats or collaborators pass absurd, overly punitive laws against marginalized groups in the disguise of religious freedom, against the desires of the framers of the Constitution. If you recall from your schoolhouse rock, the bill then has to be signed into law, though at this level, it's the governor who signs it in. In Michigan, our governor, Gretchen Whitmer, has been the only thing standing in the way of a Republican-controlled legislature passing whatever horror they please into law. There are 23 states that have no such last line of defense, legislature and governorship both controlled by an increasingly MAGA-compromised Republican Party. Don't look to the courts to save you. The situation in the Supreme Court is bad. Through bad faith arguments, an obstructionist GOP, and the Democrats being too cucked out to do anything about it, formal President federal subpoena crammed the lower courts as well, something the secret documents case has brought into disturbing clarity. But most cases do not make it to the Supreme Court, battling it out instead in lower courts first. Packed full of an astounding number of lower court judges cut from the exact same cloth as his Supreme Court justice picks, up at the top, Justice Clarence Thomas signaled the court's potential future attacks against cases like Griswold v. Connecticut, the case protecting access to birth control, Oberfell v. Hodges, granting the right for same-sex couples to be wed, and Lawrence v. Texas, preventing states from enacting anti-sodomy laws. The courts will not protect you going forward. At the national level, Republicans have long proven themselves to be the obstructionist party when they don't hold the presidency. Granted control of the legislature, they will do as they have done under all of Mitch the Bitch's leadership and obstruct. And then the next election cycle, the claim will be that the president didn't do anything during his term in power. And then will come Donald Trump, or one of the many ghouls vying to be his replacement. No Republican president has come to power by the popular vote since 1988. Their agenda is not the will of the people. Rest assured that if the Republicans gain control again, they will never give it up. It has been made harder and harder to vote, particularly for the have-nots that need accommodations like absentee and early voting. The closing of poll places creates lines so long they make it impossible for hard-working people to vote. In Georgia, you can't even provide food and drink to people waiting in these long lines anymore. You need your secretaries of state and county clerks to make sure you can vote and that your vote counts. Down-ballot votes matter, even in supposedly nonpartisan offices like judgeships, local officials, and school board members. And so we come to the last reason why this podcast needs to encourage you to vote. We've spoken as women, we've spoken as queer people, and now we have to speak as readers too. Around the country, we've seen widespread attacks on queer people engaged in education, be they students or teachers. Across the country, book bans have been on an unprecedented rise. AstroTurf's parents' rights activists had fought to pull thousands of books out of our nation's schools. I've put together a list of these books. It's incomplete, but what I've seen in compiling it is disturbing in nature. Attacks on books on the experiences of people of color. Attacks on any book perceived as being anti-Christian, or even showing that other religions exist. A massive percentage of these books are about queer experiences or queer characters, claiming that our existence is pornographic. Attacks on books providing information on sex education or abortion after your lack of sex ed hits home. Targeted are many of the classics that urge you to question the world. Targeted are books on the Holocaust. Targeted are books on students' legal rights. But also targeted are comic books, graphic novels, and manga, including new award winners and old classics like V for Vendetta, Mouse, or Watchmen. More modern things like Ms. Marvel, a novelization of Miles Morales' Spider-Man, or a Batman limited series don't dodge the axe either. Children's lives hang in the balance. They seek to cut off any angle a queer child might have to find understanding or get support. Gay and lesbian youths are 3.71% more likely to commit suicide than their peers. Bisexuals stand at 3.69%, and trans youths at a whopping 5.87%. Our school boards stand as one of the only things protecting these kids' access to the resources they desperately need. Your school boards matter. It's every American's duty to stand against fascism in whatever manner they can, whether that be bashing some Proud Boys' skulls when they get on their bullshit, donating to causes that matter to you, or for most people, voting. Vote like your life depends on it, because it does. Vote blue, because if you're anything other than a very particular brand of Christian, you're not invited to this party. If you're not a cisgender, straight, white, Christian evangelical, you're not part of the America they have in mind, and if you're a woman, you should be seen and not heard. This November, we ask you to vote.
We do.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So I know that was a downer note to end on, but now let's go back to all the awesome things.
Oh boy.
Jokes can enter the room again.
Jokes are invited back into the room.
As we just lift a line straight from the McElroys.
Yeah.
We kicked Jokes out of the room there for a sec, and now we're inviting them back to the room. They seem scared, though. They're worried that Jokes might not be welcome in this environment. Because jokes are so not welcome in queer environments. Haven't you noticed? It's impossible to make jokes these days. Except, no, actually, you can actually make jokes very easily. You just don't.
Alright, you're bringing to another downer.
Hey, no! Don't let the jokes out!
Downer.
Get the jokes back in.
Sorry, I kicked Jokes out again.
We're holding the jokes ransom. Vote or you'll never hear from the jokes again. Vote or the gal gets it.
And then it turns out most of our listeners are from Kazakhstan, and, well, I'm not sure if they have a meaningful vote in Kazakhstan.
No! Stop! Let the jokes back in, god damn it!
That was a joke! That was a joke! That was a different kind of joke, damn it!
Fair. Anyway.
Tell us about social media.
Oh god,
and how much I hate it.
Oh god.
Yeah, that's fair.
But we still have it.
Yeah, we're on Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We're all those places. You can email us over at comicsplaining@gmail.com. You can tell me how you never want me to go on a 5-minute long spiel about politics again. And that will be duly received feedback.
How dare you get politics in your comics?
It's always been political.
What?
Email me about that stance, bitch.
What are you talking about? Galactus has nothing to do with politics.
Anyway, you can follow us over on YouTube, like, subscribe, hit the bell button if you want to see a visual version of the podcast that we put out weekly over there. You can see when we're groaning over what horrors and inking we've been subjected to.
God.
There are just some things we can't communicate via speech. If you'd like to donate and support the show, political spiels included.
I mean, the Thermal Man was definitely political.
Yeah.
Not in a good way, but
No.
yeah.
No, but they were being political about it. Just, oh god, that did not age.
Well, if you want something that's probably not political, over on our Patreon at our $5 tier, we have silly comics that we go through once a month. And I think next week we're going to be putting out a very spooky comic for October. So join us over there.
How do you know Kiss isn't political?
I don't. That's why I said probably.
Kiss could be incredibly political. You don't know.
I'm pretty sure Gene Simmons actually, called out millennial snowflakes at a concert once, so...
Oh boy. Yeah, so that's definitely going to be the mood for the comics.
God damn it, no, you're ruining my plug for our Patreon.
I'm sorry, bring jokes back into the room.
Let the jokes back in, god damn
You're
it.
doing promotional stuff. Jokes don't fit into promotional stuff.
The jokes have to be invited to the promotional stuff. We also have a coffee.
Give us money.
Rate and review on your podcatcher of choice. We'd really appreciate that. If we know that we have it, we will also read it on the air because we love that. Join us over on Discord. you can talk with us about the comics that we read today. Read them along. We'll have a fun time.
You can be horrified by the politicalness of the Thermal Man.
Oh, we hate the Thermal Man.
Yeah, he was
Don't
just...
we, folks?
He was
We
just
do.
the worst.
We hate the Thermal Man, don't we, folks? God damn it, the politics won't go away.
At
Anyway,
least it was a political joke.
that's fair.
We synthesized it.
We've
He
got the synergy
was a
now.
political joke.
That's true.
Yeah, I've been joking about how if it wasn't real life, this would be the funniest sitcom ever. But no, unfortunately, it's true. Anyway, we're going to be back next week with the definitely not political X-Men.
No, never.
No, they've
Of
never
course.
been political. What?
Never.
And we look forward to talking to you then. Bye!